So hey guys, this is really just a follow-up video to my Salsa Fargo tire collection video. This is my tire collection for fat biking. It's not as extensive as my tire collection for my Fargos, and partly reason for that is fat bike tires are very expensive in Canada, quality ones are, and my fat bike is mainly for winter use. I do use it a little bit in the summer, and now that I have more tire options, I'll probably use it a little more in the summer. So let's start up with the first. I have these as pairs, but I just have some of these as singles to show you. So that is the Surly Nard 4.8. I bought these late in the summertime, and the main reason I bought them is because I also have Surly Bud and Lose, which I'll show you, which I have basically a like-hate relationship with those tires. So I wanted a faster rolling summer tire with adequate off-road grip. And I mean, a Surly Nard gets you that. It doesn't matter what version of the Surly Nard, what bike you're using it on. It's a low rolling resistance design that has adequate off-road grip. It's a very, very fat tire, mounted on clown shoe, 100 millimeter clown shoes, which is pretty much what this tire was designed for. It's a huge volume tire, so you can run it at nice low pressure if you need to, and it's basically the Nard. So they're not very tall knobs, reasonable spacing so as not to clog, but it's definitely not a mud tire. My suggestion for this tire is if you're doing a ride where you're going to deal with some pavement, some gravel, and then your destination has a little bit of off-roading, so this will be fast on the pavement and gravel, or if you just want a gravel road tire, if you ride your fat bike on gravel roads, which can be a lot of fun, Surly Nard 4.8 is a great choice for that. So, well, actually I had the pair of those here. So next are the tires that I have a like-hate relationship. Not a love-hate relationship, a like-hate relationship. And that's the Surly Bud and the Surly New. So these were the stock tires that came on my Surly Moonlander. And they are seriously aggressive. So the Bud is basically designed as a front tire. The Lou is basically designed as a rear tire. But I've read on forums that people use them vice versa, or they buy them as pairs, individually as pairs. The Buds as pairs, Lou's as pair, and run them front and rear. My major complaint with them is they're super slow. Very, very slow tire, very, very noisy tire. But if you're looking for an off-road tire that provides incredible amounts of grip in the summer and also incredible amounts of grip on snow in the wintertime, the Bud and the Lou is still near the top of the heap for that. So I don't use them that often, but now that I have those Nards that I can use for, you know, mix rides, I'll probably use these a little bit more if I know I'm going to be heading straight to the trails. I live riding distance to the best trails here in town, so with these Lou's at off-road tire pressure, probably take me like 20-25 minutes to get to the trails from my house because they're slow as molasses. I mean, they still got tons of life in them, and that's the other thing is I don't want to get rid of them because they have so much life in them, but I almost never use them because they're so slow. And then my most recent purchase for the fat bike is 45 North Dillinger 4 studded, and these are the cheap ones. So they're wire bead. They're only 33 TPI. You can feel how dense the casing is. It's not very supple. But mainly I bought it as a commuting tire for riding to and from work. So usually it's going to be either hard ice, hard packed snow. So they're generally going to be run at higher pressure anyways. I'm not really worried about ride quality and that sort of thing. I just want to be able to get to work safely and be able to handle variable snow conditions. Because right now on my ride to work, lots of exposed pavement, lots of just sheer ice, and lots of just hard packed snow, and these tires are working out great for that. And I bought them as a second set because I also have Dillinger 5 studded, which is the last tire I'm going to show you. and I just don't want to wear those ones out. So I can use these ones. It kind of gets rid of my range anxiety. I can dedicate these ones to commuting, and my Dillinger 5s, which I've actually had for a few years now, they still actually have lots of life in them. So I'll use the Dillinger 5s for fun, for going off-road, or even there'll be the days where there's snowstorms that I have to ride to work. And usually when we have snowstorms, I feel safer riding a bike to work than I do driving a car to work. So usually if it's a big snowstorm, I'm definitely going to ride my bike to work because I feel safer doing that. So Dillinger 4. Well, the other thing is I got a good deal on these, because even though these are wire beads, they're still expensive. They're over $200 each in Canada, but I got them basically the pair for less than what a single Dillinger 5 studded 120 TPI tire would cost. So Dillinger 4 studded wire beads, and then last but not least would be Dillinger 5 studded 120 TPI. So like I said, I've had these for a number of years. What can you say about the Dillinger? It is a low rolling resistance design. It's not super low rolling resistance. It's got a pretty aggressive tread, but it's a good compromise tire, and it's not super slow. It's not super fast. It's quite grippy, but it's not incredibly grippy. It kind of finds the middle ground between all of that. And then, well, obviously it's studded. So these use the concave tip studs, and apparently 45 North has a new stud design where it's a much larger head. I've seen photographs of it. I haven't actually seen it in person, but it does actually look quite a bit larger than these ones. So I've lost count of how many years I've had these. I'm thinking maybe now 3 years, and they still actually have life left in them. Just looking at, I don't know if this is a wear indicator there or if that's supposed to be sniping, but there's still at least another year out of these tires, as long as I don't use them on pavement as much. But then I have my Dillinger 4s to help avoid that. The other thing I did middle of last winter is I got all the studs down the center here replaced on the front and the rear tires. So that cost me a fair bit of money, I think $140, $150, but it really reinvigorated the tire, rejuvenated the tire for use on ice. The side knobs are still very, very sharp, but even these ones that are basically new, you can already feel that they're not as sharp as the sides, and I probably put, I don't know, 3 months use on them the last part of last winter. But they still have life in them, and they're very expensive tires here in Canada. They're over $300 each. I see my dealer actually has some Dillinger 5 studdeds left for I think around $312. I think the newest version in Canada is supposed to sell for about $330. So they're very, very expensive. The other thing is, in winter, basically, I only use studded tires. Because like I've said, I'm riding distance to the trails. So even if at the trails I don't need studded tires, you almost always need studded tires just to get to the trails, because the side streets are going to be icy. They're going to be totally hard packed, either hard packed snow on the verge of becoming ice, or they're just strictly ice. Right now, most of the side streets are pretty much strictly ice. So I only use studded tires in the wintertime. If you throw your fat bike into your vehicle and drive to a trail system, yeah, you could probably get away without studded tires. But that said, the conditions we have right now, even at the trails, you're going to find lots of ice to deal with, even at the trails. So I would use studded tires personally. And my personal recommendation, if you live in a snowy climate and you're looking for a set of tires for the winter, basically just buy a studded tire and don't worry about anything else. Like these Dillinger 5s, when I bought them, because I work in a laboratory and we have very accurate scales for measuring stuff that are calibrated yearly. When I got these Dillinger 5s, I took the Bud and the Lou to work and weighed them, and I took these Dillinger 5s to work and weighed them. And even with the studs, the Dillinger 5s were lighter than either the Bud and the Lou. So there was almost no downsides to the Dillinger, in my opinion. The 5 compared to a Bud and the Lou, it's lighter. the rolling resistance design, low rolling resistance. It rolls faster, but it still has more than adequate grip, and it has studs. So pretty much from this point on, if I'm buying a tire for winter use, it's going to be studded, and that's what I recommend. So there you go, my fat bike tire collection. Nowhere near as impressive as my Fargo collection, but I'm set up for summer and winter. Thanks for watching. Bye.